happy weekend. Hope you are enjoying your Saturday and eventually your Sunday as well. Whatever you're doing, whether you're working, which would be great, or spending some quality time with people in your life. So, I've had a thought today that I wanted to share with you, and that's look, bottom line, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. And I've talked to a number of friends, clients, et cetera. And I think some people, it's easy to get overwhelmed with everything going on and what is impacting you. And then in many cases, you're worried and stressing about things that aren't really having a direct impact on you in your life, but you can get overwhelmed by it. I was reminded of something I learned many, many years ago. It's a coping thing to understand how you can change how you feel in that instant, literally like that. And I'll give you the secret. Here's something I learned that's helped me a ton. When you are getting overwhelmed and you're thinking there's just like, wow, it's all kind of taking over your life a bit. And that's this: any moment in your life, any instant, you can impact how you feel at that moment simply by what you choose to focus on in that instant. So if you find yourself, for example, worried about the car you drive and this isn't the car you want, and it's not the newest, and whatever the case is, you're going to feel bad. But if you look at it and say, hey, I've got my own car or my own transportation, and there's somebody else who's having to Uber everywhere or is having to deal with a bus, transport or something, and they're a little more controlled. They don't have the same exact freedom. Then you have the person who can take transportation like that, and the person who can't afford to do it all the time, so they don't go everywhere they go. So again, it's a matter of what you choose to focus on. I think that that's really important. It could go into your house, it could go into your relationships, it could be in your job, your career. It is very easy to get caught up into what I don't have or how that's making me feel. On a deeper level of all this, I think part of that was just the overwhelming of what's going on in the world with things that happen nationally, not just in your local community, but in the world. And look, there are some difficult things going on. We definitely understand, and I think it's important to understand that yes, you can have empathy, you can feel, you can even do something about it. That's great. But if you're not in a position where you can do something immediately about it, maybe today, now, take a breath. Excuse me. Take a breath, take a moment, and just relax and take things one step at a time. Choose your focus on what you are. If you're going over global situations and these things in countries, government, the pandemic, all these things that are going on, I get it. It's easy to get yourself into a rabbit hole of emotions, and suddenly you're feeling really terrible. Look, full disclosure, coming in with the whole situation of the pandemic and things were getting better, now things are going the other way, etc. If you know anything about me, you know that a couple of my businesses are in the event industry, and there's one right there. As a matter of fact, we fortunately and gratefully are doing some work this weekend, and I appreciate that. We've definitely been impacted by all this situation. Mask mandates, can't do events, vaccinations, limited capacity of people at events, all of this. And it's easy to get caught up into, wow, how is this affecting me? What do I not have now? What can I not do now, etc. So I understand. I completely understand. But then when you compare that with if somebody is going through an issue medically or lost a loved one or what have you, I totally get how that is. So not to oversimplify some very serious topics, but I do want to give you some reminders of what you can do to at least get your breath, get yourself balanced, and feel healthier, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And then you could be in a better situation to be able to help others and do things to step out. And that's kind of like on the airplane when they tell you, hey, you know what? If in case of an issue on the plane, they always tell you to put your mask on first before you start helping other people. It's kind of the same thing here. Make sure you're balanced and you're in the best situation, and then you can help many other people. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're just disoriented emotionally and getting overwhelmed, that's not going to be the best place to be able to help others. So just keep in mind what you choose to focus on in any moment is going to directly impact how you feel, whether you feel overwhelmed, tired, defeated, whatever it is, or whether you feel great or inspired or passionate. It really goes into what you do. And I think sometimes it's easy to get focused on, we've talked about before, it's easy to get focused on the issue. You have 98 great qualities about yourself, but you will focus on those two issues, challenges, problems that you have, and you let that all of a sudden take over your focus, and then you feel like, oh, I'm failing because of these one or two items as opposed to the 98 great things you have. So here's a really kind of silly, but I thought interesting, and this is what triggered the thought for me, going in everything else. If you sit and focus on my lawn, which I grew up, my father has the greenest thumb in the world, and if I have plants that die, I feel like I'm letting my father down, so that's not a good thing. So if you look at it, we have a situation here, and I look right behind me here, and there is the lawn. Look at that. Green lawn. Yay! Which is not easy to do because we're in a drought in Southern California, so you really can't water all the time, and all of this because you have to be responsible. So that's important. But if I look at that, and if I tune over this way, and I see that, there's a patch of dirt there, the grass not coming in there and stuff, I can feel like, oh, my lawn is a failure. It's horrible. Just look at this. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed that people came to my house, etc., etc. Again, simply change the focus, put it over here, and look, a green lawn. It's beautiful. I know that's really simplistic, but it is something that can show you how sometimes a simple paradigm shift of your focus and perspective can have an impact on how you're feeling at that moment. So there, I feel like, my lawn looks great versus it having over here. And again, very simplified, but again, keep in mind that's what happens in our lives, where you have these great relationships or opportunities or situations in your life, but you end up kind of not just belittling, but you kind of taking them for granted when you could be more appreciative about it. And obviously that'll impact how you feel. So anyways, a simple thought, simple idea for today, just because I know that some of the people I've been speaking to have been getting overwhelmed with so much going on in the world and challenges, differences. And again, some of those things you don't have a direct impact on. And as you find yourself getting a little overwhelmed or starting to feel some negative emotions that is not where you want to be, you want to come from a place of how would I say, passion, a place of where you can make an impact and belief in yourself, because that's, I think, important. We all want to know that not only do we matter, but that we can do something that matters and that it can have a positive impact on other people's lives. So yes, you can help change things around the globe, but in the meantime, while you let that overwhelm you, just take a breath, step back, do something that'll matter and impact your life closer, your community, and then build out from there. So something as simple as something to grateful. Here's a moment of something very fun for me. So I'm going to walk you over to here, this right here behind me. See if you can see that plant right there. I'm going to bring you into it. Right in there. That is our plumeria tree. Let me bring it back this way. I'm sorry. There we go. So that is our plumeria tree. We've tried multiple times. We are huge Hawaii fans, and we would love to have a plumeria tree grow here in our house. And they've never, ever grown, never been able to get one to go. And we have a lot of great plants here. However, we finally got one, and it has, as you saw, a leaf. It has one single leaf. Look. And a few others that look like they're on their way out, but that one leaf. So I'm not bummed about the other trees that haven't been able to grow. I'm excited that we have one leaf on our plumeria tree. So that's the beginning of building, and who knows, maybe this one will sprout and we'll be able to have our flowers and one day make our own lei here at the house, and that would be pretty awesome. So hopefully that put a little bit of a fun perspective on a pretty serious topic of things that are going on. But again, if you are finding yourself overwhelmed, if you are finding so much going on in the world, and you start to, again, step back, take a breath, just hold on, and suddenly focus on something that you can control. Focus on something that is a direct impact on you that day, that moment, in that instant. And I promise it's going to change how you feel, breathe, and then from there you're in a much stronger position to be able to come out of that and now take some action, do some things that will impact not just your life, but even more importantly, the lives of the people around you that you really care about. So hope you found this somewhat helpful and interesting. With that, have a great weekend. Make it something amazing. And again, here's a perfect focus. Southern California, we had been at about 105, 106 in that range for quite a while. And all of a sudden this past week, we actually even got a little drizzle, a little rain. If you saw my post about using my windshield wipers for the first time, that's exciting. Overcast today. This is pretty crazy for August in SoCal. So bottom line, another thing for me to be grateful for. So especially since the event I'm doing today is outdoors. So yay, feeling very happy about that. Anyways, have a great weekend. Have a great week. and we'll be talking to you again soon.